It's about to get real. Laws, liars, and legal stuff. I'm Brian. Welcome to my TSLA weekend. So this was supposed to be the Friday show, but due to extenuating circumstances, well, it's not live, it's pre-taped. So when I normally say, this is the full version or the condensed version, this is the only version this week. Quick thanks to upgrading patrons, Anthony and Sathish. Thank you for your decision to continue supporting the channel. So let's get started. Yeah, got an intro. Popular demand. What am I supposed to do? So California lawmakers just passed a bill that could force Tesla to stop calling its beta software full self-driving in the state. Now it's up to Governor Newsom to sign it into law. Yeah, there's some people who take issue with the nomenclature full self-driving. It's misleading. The car is not full self-driving. And that's great, I guess. I mean, if you want, we could take the flamethrower approach and call it not full self-driving. But come on, man, we know what we're talking about here. I would argue that Tesla buyers are uncommonly engaged and know what's going on with their products. But let's say I'm mistaken. When you go to the order page, it says right here, full self-driving capability. All functionality of basic autopilot, listed here, plus traffic light and stop sign control. And coming soon, auto steer on city streets. So if you read auto steer on city streets is coming soon, and somehow that tells you that it's going to drive itself without intervention, I mean, that doesn't pass the idiot in a hurry test. Currently enabled features require active driver supervision and do not make the vehicle autonomous. It says it right there, right in the place where you would have to click to add it. We know this. Everyone knows this. But if you really want us to call it something else, whatever. I guess pretty silly. California's 2035 zero emissions mandate is just keeping up with the industry. Well, that's interesting. I kind of disagree with that. The 2035 rule would make all light vehicles have to be clean, zero emission, whether that's hydrogen or electric or compressed air, I suppose, although that vehicle's been abandoned. So, yeah, looking at these numbers, these forecasts would be obsolete. This article is arguing that even though 17 states are likely to follow in Tesla's footsteps, in California's footsteps, it doesn't much matter because it was going to happen anyway. I think this will really give them the kick in the pants they need, especially laggards like Chrysler and the U.S. versions of the Stellantis brands. That's what I think. And yeah, the EV credits are going to be nice. The bonuses for money available for battery manufacturers and charging, great. We need all this. Tesla owner files proposed class action lawsuit over phantom braking. Now, did he file it or did he propose to file it? He filed his lawsuit in federal court in Northern District. Toledo proposes a class action lawsuit for all owners and lessees of Tesla vehicles who have suffered from phantom braking. Now, I don't know what your experience with phantom braking is. The first time I was in a Tesla, it was running FSD beta, and I experienced phantom braking, I'm going to say 0 times in 2-3 hours. The next time, I drove all around town in a couple different ones in April, and I experienced it once. And it was while I was behind the wheel, and it was when I was coming over the crest of a hill, and a car was right on the other side of the double yellow, and honestly, I agreed with it, and it was just a slight tap. And then recently I had an opportunity to go all around town in some really challenging situations. Did not have much problems then either. From looking at the forums, I've seen quite a disparity in experience. Some people say haven't experienced it in months, others say it's constant. So I don't know. I think it's interesting and maybe something to look at. But they're working on it. Other cars have phantom braking issues too. Any car using forward collision avoidance runs the risk of phantom braking. And you guys know that. I don't know why I'm telling you. But did you know, when you bought your Tesla, you agreed to binding arbitration. Tesla's arbitration agreement can hurt your lemon law case. Well, it can hurt all of those. Because unless you opted out within 30 days, you might be subject to mandatory binding arbitration. Of course, these things can be thrown out or changed or altered in any number of ways. Tesla sues to sell cars directly to consumers in Louisiana. There's a lot of states where you just can't buy direct. There's an easy workaround. You go into the showroom, you find a car you like, and then you just place an order on your phone, or you go home and do it. But it'd be nice if you could, for some buyers, I guess, sit down with the gentleman or the lady and say, hey, this is the one I want, write it up. You could do that. So what do? Well, you can sue because this is ridiculous and it needs to expire at some point. And I can see other manufacturers getting on board with this. Ford wants to do some direct sales. GM wants to do some direct sales. That's why they bought out as many Cadillac dealers as they could, and now they're proposing to do the same with Buick dealers because, and I don't know if you know this, Buick still exists. Yeah. So in Texas, same thing. They had hoped to get a rule passed during the last legislative session, which they only have every 2 years. It did not get through. Hopefully, this will come up again in another 18 months or something ridiculous, and they'll have an opportunity to get it passed then. But you can still buy a made in Texas Tesla and pick it up in Texas. They just have to generate the paperwork in California and email it for you to sign. It's silly. What on earth was that? It's very silly, but, it's what you got to do. There's literally no other way. Or you could open a dealership on tribal land. Because these are sovereign nations we're talking about. In New Mexico, that's what they did. They opened it. They basically are creating jobs in in Nambe Pueblo, north of Santa Fe, on tribal land that is not subject to state laws. Do that. Give jobs to the people who want to have them in their communities, I guess. So let's get on to the power, huh? Tesla unveils new virtual power plant in Japan. So in my leaked rumors video a couple weeks back, that was a hot one. One of the things that my source said was that Powerwall production is ramping fast into the thousands and thousands you see. And I wouldn't have even reported it except other things he said were coming true. And so now we've seen so many Powerwalls going out to little communities so they can be part of virtual power plants. Virtual power plant, instead of having a big old mega pack like they have in Southern Australia or in California, where's that one at? Moss Landing, something like that. Instead, they just put a bunch of them in people's homes. So instead of drawing, a megawatt, I draw a few kilowatts from each of 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 of you. Again, you guys know this. I don't know why I'm going into such depth, but if you're a new viewer, hey man, welcome. So they're deploying them all over the place. Texas, California, and it works. They've got hundreds in Hawaii. The island. Oh, that's the Japanese island. Yes. And it just works. So this is the California one. They tested it during the heat wave. I gave it 2 tests, and both times it worked just fine. Supporting the grid with more than 20 megawatts of energy amid a scorching heat wave. So the idea is they sell you the power at nice normal rates, and then they buy it back at like 10 to 20 times that rate. They buy it back at like $2 a kilowatt hour when they only charge you 15 cents for it. So that's pretty exciting. Here's a little animation of it from that Twitter link on the previous page. Yeah, super cool. What else we got? Oh yeah, AXA, the insurance company out of Switzerland. So they went ahead and dragged a Tesla. Weird that they wouldn't have it under its own power. Oh, look. Oh, well, that's what it takes to flip it. You have to throw it and let it smack onto a ramp so that it will flip. Because these are notoriously, oh my goodness, it caught on. That doesn't look like a battery fire. That's very strange. I wonder how that happened. That is not what a battery fire looks like. And of course, they had to apologize for the crash test because that was completely fake. The battery had been removed. What they wanted to say is, no, 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 you misunderstand, my friend. Electric cars can have battery fires, and it would have been too dangerous to actually set a battery on fire, so we faked it. Now, if you watch that video, you'll see that would not have caused a battery fire. It wouldn't have punctured it. Battery fires are really rare. Teslas are far less likely to catch fire. Electric cars, the Bolt, is less likely to catch fire than an internal combustion traditional vehicle. So that was kind of dumb. And yeah, and they said, well, what we really wanted to point out is that Teslas, being so powerful, cause more damage than other cars. Now, they didn't share those statistics either. They don't say where they're getting that information. 50% more collisions causing damage to vehicles other than their own. I am sorry, but without seeing the numbers, I'm going to have to assume you're lying because you lied on the test. Why would you do that? You throw out all your credibility. Maybe don't do that. But fortunately, they're the only ones with a credibility gap. Oh yeah, that's right. Dan O'Clown. Apology. I'm sorry that I misled you. Aha. I relied on reports from others that I did not verify. What? Why would you do that? But now, having personally experienced over 20 hours of at Elon Musk's full self-driving, he says, baiting Twitter into actually showing this tweet to others, I can report that it is the most incompetently designed, implemented, and tested product I've ever seen. Except for the stuff your company produces. Robert Scoble is a very smart engineer. I have interviewed thousands of software entrepreneurs in my career. Siri was launched in my son's bedroom. I ran a famous tech blog for decades. This is the most amazing piece of software I've ever seen. Now, the difference between Robert Scoble and good old Danny here is that Dan has a financial stake in almost every company's ADAS system, automated driver assistance system, except for the ones sold by Tesla. Whereas Robert Scoble does not have such an interest. James Stevenson, I cannot underscore enough. Great guy, great channel, follow him. Wait, what are you apologizing for? The false claims in your anti-Tesla TV ad that you did not delete, and this is, in fact, still your pinned tweet? Your false claims to be an FSD expert? Your false claims that autopilot was engaged during your tests? Be more specific. Let's see if it's still pinned, Danny. Let's go take a look. There it is. Still pinned. That's not what an apology is, Dan. So let's get off the law for a minute. Yeah, we're doing great on time. Tesla files to build EV batteries on new production lines at Fremont factory. So do you know who the big players are in batteries? The biggest in the world is CATL, who does sell batteries to Tesla. All of their LFP batteries come from CATL. The next biggest would be, who would that be? Panasonic. As we know, they buy them from them. Then we've got Samsung, who's building a pilot line for 4680s. We've got more 4680s being built by Panasonic in, I want to say, Oki or Kansas. Who else? BYD. Yes, they'll be providing blade batteries for the standard range cars made in Berlin. And there's one more, LG, who provides all of the performance batteries for Berlin, I believe. All of those, the 5 biggest companies, the next one is SK Innovations in 6th place. They work with Ford. And I believe they're also working on a 4680 pilot line, but I'd have to double check. But catching up with them is going to be Tesla. They're going to be in that mix. They're going to be getting from at least the top 6 or 7 providers. Because as you know, there's a battery factory in Texas, at Giga Texas. There's one going up in Berlin, at Giga Berlin. There's one at Cato Road in Fremont. And now there's going to be one at Fremont itself. That's a lot of batteries. We're talking 100 megawatt hours per year per factory to start, eventually 200. That's a lot of batteries, my friend. That's very exciting. Do you know that Toyota's global July sales drops again, putting their annual targets in doubt? They fell 8.6% year over year. missing its target for the 4th straight month. Well, you know, there have been the pandemic and severe weather and recall. Toyota, you're huge. I would expect if anyone can come out on top of this, it'd be you. Something's going on. You're struggling, my friend. Still produced 700,000 last month. That's really good. But Tesla, with only, 4 factories, 2 of them just getting started, is going to be nipping at this number's heels right quick. And I say that because big numbers are showing up. Record month in store for Tesla as 7th ship arrives in Australia. 7 ships arrived. Wow. Now that's a lot. That's a lot. In Port Kembla. I'm telling you, man, all these places sound made up. I believe you it's a real place, but I don't know. And this, which came out since Friday, I'm very excited to see this. Good work by Jonna Kreider. She is wonderful. She's actually hands down my favorite Tesla Roddy writer, but in my, I'd say, top 3 Tesla authors, generally. Just my opinion. She's not sensationalist. She sticks with the facts. She's reporting on Troy's tweet, and Troy is very good at estimating. Tesla China team is expected to deliver more than 100,000 cars in September. Just from Shanghai, just in September. Yeah. The highest month so far this year was 78,000 in June. Remember in July, they were closed for much of the month for retooling, which will allow, greater output, obviously. So these are big numbers. I'll be curious to see if Troy wins on his delivery estimates again. His delivery estimates are very good. He sometimes provides production numbers as well, but according to him, his real number is deliveries. And my real number is production. Because I follow different metrics. And I'm very good. You guys know, you're here. Tesla tops 2022 JD Powa Tech Experience Study, but gets no award. Why is that? So the main reason is JD Powa wants your data. Who are all your customers? Give us names, give us models, give us addresses. So we can send them surveys, and definitely not so we can use or sell the data. JD Power is a marketing company. They're not an automotive company, no matter what they say they are. But they're not eligible because they won't pay for their awards and they won't hand over your data. And if they did and won this meaningless award, which they topped, which they should have won if it was a real award and not just a product that they sell, they'd be in first place. And then what happens next year? Hey, do you want to keep your first place ranking? Maybe you should pay us a little bit of money for your award. Here we go. But of course, JD Powa, super reputable, as explained by our good friend Mac. Mac, you remember these?
What emoji would you use to describe the design?
If real people, commercials were real life. These are not real people, of course. These are actors. And the only part that's real is that they were given guidelines of what to say rather than a script. Because nobody talks about a Chevy like this. Nobody.
Just bear with me, all right? Because if it gets 40 miles per gallon, I can buy a lot of top.
So dumb. So dumb. You know me. I like to point out when things are so dumb. So a quick thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, help keep the channel running, all that good stuff. More of these names will be announced in coming days. I'm a little bit behind because I got a few new folks who signed up. That's wonderful. And what did I miss or misunderstand? All that good stuff. So the housekeeping issue is, Friday, bit of a migraine, had to go to sleep, deal with that. Made me exhausted all day Saturday. I've been sleeping and napping, and I'm exhausted. It's the middle of the night. And I just woke up and I figured if I don't do this now, who knows? And I didn't want to schedule it because I'm just afraid it's going to come back and then I'm going to have to postpone it again. So I apologize for that. And I thank you for your patience. And other bad news, Evolution 22, where I was set to host a panel with Bears Workshop, Tesla Herbert, Yashu from Hit That Bid, Nikki and the crew from Transport Evolved, and Lars from Best in Tesla, did I ever say that? Has been postponed. We just found out a couple days ago it has been postponed to next year, to next summer, maybe. Next year. Apparently, the reason they're citing is prolonged major infrastructure projects around the university that will persist well into October. So summer of 23 is the new guideline, is the new target. Very disappointing, but I'm more disappointed for them because, especially the volunteers, good friend Wally, who's up there, was put his heart and soul into this, and it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating to work so hard on something and see it kind of slip away, but, you know, for me, it's not that bad. I didn't have any airfare or anything booked, so that's where we're at. So, yeah, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave me all them thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned and juicy. You know what you're doing. And I will see you guys, you clever, clever robots, maybe at Fully Charged next weekend. Still tickets available. You can get coupon code MTW gets you 15% off. I don't know. Love to see you guys there. I'll have some swag and stuff. It's pretty cool. All right.